Welcome back to my channel. I just got sent my first UPCRATE box. If you're new here, my name is Iris from Iris Impressions Art, and I am a mixed media artist, teacher and vlogger, and in my videos I want to help you to get creative and stay inspired. In this video I'm going to show you what's in here. I will show you how I approach the new materials that I've never seen before and how I create a unique and personal piece of art, and hopefully the tips and tricks and the process that I show you will inspire you and help you to create your own art or make something inspired by mine. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. So this is going to be a live reaction. I have not opened this. I have never had an UPCRATE box before. This is UPCRATE 29, which I think is the January one for 2022. Let's open this. You are getting closer. Goodness me. Oh gosh, I'm really excited. Liquitex soft body acrylics. I have never used these, and these are the muted ones. Muted violet and muted turquoise. Oh, I'm very excited about this. If you know, I bought some of the muted inks recently, and I've got a video up on my channel somewhere where you can see me using those or unboxing those. Yes, I'm excited. Okay, so this box, I think it costs 22 euros, which is obviously like quite good value, you'd think, but it's still, you know, it's still money. So it comes with this little booklet. So it tells you, so yeah, it was January, it tells you all about the different supplies, I imagine. Okay, I'm not gonna look at it yet because it will spoil what's inside, I imagine. Ooh, I can see something peeking out here. I'm gonna save this tissue paper. We'll be using that in something else. Ooh, okay. Little palette knife, very exciting. I always use these anyway. And then these cute little bottles of paint, tubes of paint. Okay, so Amsterdam acrylics, I use these a lot. As you know, I am always going on about my white Amsterdam acrylic, that I use that a lot. But this one's really cool. So it's like it's called Reflex Yellow, but it, you know, I would just use this, I would call this fluorescent yellow. Let's just get rid of this background so we can really see that amazing yellow. And yeah, that makes sense why there is this yellow on top of the booklet. Let's see, what else have we got? So we've got these two little paints. So this is very acrylic heavy, this box. An interesting kind of contrast of these muted colors and then that super bright yellow. That will be very interesting. It kind of like gives you an instant feeling of like a color palette. It comes with a little brush, Lineo, which I have never heard of, but that looks like a, you know, a useful little synthetic brush, and a Lyra B pencil. This doesn't enthuse me, like that is a pencil. Come on. But the rest is really cool. Okay, and we've got some, what do you call this? Cold pressed watercolor paper. I wonder if there is information as to what paper that is. So let's see. Oh, it's in German and it's in English. So I was quite excited to discover about UPCRATE because so far I did not know that there were any art subscription boxes that were like for the European market, so European and the UK. And so this is quite exciting to know that it's available here, basically. Oh, so the paper is Canson, which is good because I have not used that before, so I'll be able to try that out. So it's the acrylic paper, ideal for working with diluted acrylic paint. Interesting. Okay, 400 GSM, which is quite thick. That's thicker than what I usually do. Oh, they're gonna tell me why this pencil is special, because obviously I was underwhelmed by this pencil. So let's find out why it's special. Whoa, look, this is pure graphite. Okay, they're trying to make it sound interesting, but I don't think it is. But this is cool. This very cool neon paint. Yeah, they say it's too bright to print, which is true. Fluorescent neon paint shows up terrible when you photograph it or film it. I think filming it is still okay, but when you photograph it, it's just rubbish. So that's, it always looks better in real life. The first part of the booklet, it goes through these supplies, and then it has like some artist spotlights, I guess, a little interview, oh, history. Okay, and then like project ideas of what other people have done, which is cool. Oh, this looks really good. And then I guess, is this... Oh, this is like a contest that they do, maybe? This is very inspiring. I imagine that these things are also on their Instagram channel, so that's cool. Oh yeah, okay, so they have UPCRATE battles in which people create pieces of art according to a certain topic with the UPCRATE box supplies. So lots of ideas and inspiration. And I am looking forward to... Oh, let's have a look at what else is in here. Some stickers designed by... Oh, it says community sticker by art by Miranda Meulenkamp. That's cool. And then what have we got here? Oh, this is some... So I guess this is their featured artist. And there's a little bit of art by her in here, which is cool. And also what I actually really like, which is completely not, you know, not necessarily intended, but I like that these pages are all like matte paper. So I can reuse this little booklet, and I can probably bind it into some of my junk journals or something, because to be fair, like this, I wouldn't necessarily want to keep it because reference material, I don't really need reference material. It would just be like magazines that go on a stack and then you never look at them again. So I'm excited to be able to like reuse this and incorporate it. And this as well, I'll be able to like fold this and put it into a junk journal. That'll be really nice. Although I guess you could hang this up if you wanted to. So this is going to be exciting. It will be really interesting to see if I can just use these materials to create something. Let's do it. Okay, right off the bat, I'm gonna cheat slightly because I have this idea that I really want to do, but it requires me to use one thing that isn't included in this box, and that is I want to use some of the this booklet as kind of collage ephemera on this artwork, and I will need to stick it down. And I mean, I could use the acrylic paint to try and stick it down. We could see if that works. So no cheating allowed. Come on, let's use everything that is in this box. So I'm gonna start with this. Now it's no longer pristine blank paper, so that's what this B pencil was really good for. And then let's see if we can just stick some of these papers down. Oh, I'm gonna get very, very messy hands, I'm sure of it. But I often use heavy body gel medium to stick things down, and really what gel medium is just it's just paint without color. Is that right? Like, it's the medium that the paint is suspended in. So yeah, I'm going to use some of the German text because I won't be using that anyway, and I will just use some of this white acrylic as if it's glue. That's kind of exciting. And then we can use this the palette knife to kind of scrape it and adhere it. Oh, and that gives me another idea. I just threw it away. I just threw away the Hello Fresh card because it's for Germany. It's not plastic. It's like, it's kind of cardboardy, but I can use that maybe to do a little bit of scraping. Let's add a little bit more. Let's see. Where is there any more? Is there some more German text I can use? I mean, I could use the English text as well. Let's do this. Yeah, I mean, I am sorry if it feels like I'm using like the precious materials from the little booklet, but I am a really big fan of using things in ways that that feel right and that make you happy. And I used to be the type of person who would really hold on to everything. Like, I wouldn't use things. I would have all these paints and I wouldn't use them, and I would like keep the booklet pristine because what if I one day wanted to use it? But I think as time goes on, I've become more kind of aware of how I like to use things, what serves me and what doesn't, and I'm just becoming a bit better at checking in with myself and not be so precious, I guess. So this is going really well. I'm really happy I did this. Let's add a tiny bit more. So there. I can move there. Okay, very cool, very cool. I'm really happy about this. Let me give this a blast with the heat gun and then we'll have a think about what's gonna happen next. Now, let's have a little look at these. I am quite excited about these. I wonder, yes, they've got these little seal thingies on top. I am interested, first of all, just to feel what this paint feels like, because I have never used this soft body paint before. I am usually one for heavy body acrylics. This is quite nice. Okay, so it goes on quite like smooth. So what I want to do is I want to just grab, actually I'll go with this one. I want to add some water to it and get it like nice and diluted, and then just go on top of this. So I'm going to make sure that I keep drying in between layers so that I can really get that the vibrancy of the colors. So this is a very vibrant color. Obviously these are more muted, but they are a little bit kind of like opposite each other in the color wheel. And I think if you mix all of these together, you're going to get kind of like a browny, muddy color, and I want to avoid that. I want each of these colors to really pop. So I'm gonna just make sure that after every step I'm going to dry my work. Fun challenge to have such a limited amount of art supplies. I keep feeling like, oh, I want to grab this or I want to grab that, and I'm like, no, I want to stick with the challenge of only using the stuff that was actually in the box. So that's kind of fun and challenging at the same time. But I feel like I'm getting on alright. It's a good thing that the box was mostly based around acrylics, because that's where I am quite comfortable. Would have been difficult if it was more like, I don't know, alcohol ink pens or something. That would have been more difficult. So let's just kind of build up the texture. And it's good that there's white included, because I can just go wild and then at any point I can push everything back into the background with that white acrylic, which is nice, because that way you don't get like a really like overdone mess. And also, actually, what would be nice is, let's see if we can mix a little bit of that white in with that muted acrylic and see what happens. Get a kind of more. And also, I'm just thinking about, like, what about neutrals? Let's open this one. Because I was just saying that thing about the colors being opposite each other on the color wheel, and that if you mix them, you will get like maybe a brown or muddy color. So let's see, maybe we want to do that a little bit on purpose. So we can make a really nice, can we make something that is like a nice neutral color with these colors together and that white? That will be interesting. See, now we're kind of getting towards a kind of a grayish color. Impromptu color mixing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Look. That's cool. I like it. Yeah, this is good because I felt like this was all getting a little bit too purpley for me. So that is nice. I'm usually really into my brayer, and I do feel like I would love to make some kind of brayer texture here. But I'm gonna keep going with the palette knife, and let's see what happens when I use that brush. I mean, I guess personally I'm a fan of a slightly more textured brush. This is a very soft brush, which I guess would come in handy with these soft body acrylics if you are maybe a little bit more of a person who works more neatly than I do. Trying to get some of that maybe slightly dry brush texture. Okay, so it's kind of clear that I covered over almost all of that collage material, but that's just the way you have to, like, you have to not be precious. So like if I'd have known that it would have all got covered, I might not have used it. You can still see a few of the words here, but I might not have used it, but then like I would probably be missing out on the texture of these different pages that have been stuck here. So yeah, you just gotta go for it and not feel precious about it, and keep it going. I am craving like a darker color. I want to start doing a face now because that's obviously my jam, and I would usually use something quite dark to sketch out the face, so maybe I could use this, I could use maybe both paints together. Let's see what happens if I do that. That's nice and dark, at least on the palette it is. Well, this is looking like my art, so that's exciting. I mean, you might not expect anything different. Like, when I make art, it will probably look like my art, but still, like, with this restriction of the art supplies, it is a little bit of a surprise. Right, let's go and fill in some of this face. aware that I haven't used this fluorescent acrylic yet, the fluorescent yellow. Don't worry, I am going to come around to it. So let's use a little bit of that. What color is it again? Muted violet. I have to say I am enjoying myself, and I think what's really nice about this is that I am currently pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Well, actually this box is pushing me out of my comfort zone because it's giving me a restricted palette to use, or a restricted set of art supplies to use. But because the art supplies are because they are the restriction is both the challenge and the comfort. So I'm out of my comfort zone because I'm using stuff that I wouldn't necessarily grab for myself, but it also feels finite because there is only a limited selection. So whenever I'm making a decision or thinking what shall I do next, it's from this kind of known pool of art supplies that I am choosing from. And that actually, it's a really nice push-pull. It's a really nice kind of comforting position. And I just wanted to point that out because that is something that you can obviously recreate yourself as well. Whether you are using an existing crate that you have bought, or whether you are putting together a little set of art supplies that you want to use to kind of like push yourself out of your comfort zone, but restrict yourself a little bit so it doesn't get too hairy and scary. And I'm a big fan of working within your comfort zones. I really feel like there is a lot of growth potential when you are working inside your comfort zones instead of always pushing yourself out of it. Obviously, at some point, it might be good to push yourself out of your comfort zones, but I do feel like that there is a lot to learn if you are working within at least part of your own comfort zones. And I'm also really trying to work intuitively and in a non-precious way. So I am just responding to the piece, I'm responding to what I'm doing, I am trying not to think too much about it. I'm definitely not working towards a fixed outcome. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm fully open to the possibility that I might do things that I dislike or that will feel wrong, but I also have a kind of trust that whatever happens, I can just keep going and bring it back to something I like, or just not too worried in this whole process. And I think that's a nice way of approaching art, of not being too precious and not being too worried and just seeing what happens. So this soft body acrylic, it feels quite versatile. Feels like you can easily dilute it to be kind of like a watercolor, obviously like a permanent watercolor, or you can use it more like thick and textured, like a heavy body acrylic. So that's a nice little surprise for me because, like I said, I'm not familiar with soft body acrylics particularly. I have used, in the past, I have used fluid acrylics a lot, and I don't really get on with them anymore, at least not in kind of my art style. My art style is very grungy, very textured, and heavy body acrylics definitely lend themselves very well to that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I want to do that eye, and I think for that eye I'm going to lighten some of this turquoise with the white. God, I have to say I'm so glad that there's white included in this set. So let's have a go at making a nice color for that eye color. So by mixing the colors, I'm just getting a more interesting and varied palette than just the two colors. But because everything is made from those two colors plus white, it does have a very nice kind of cohesiveness to it. Is that even a word? Cohesiveness? I think so. Right, not super happy with this actually, this eye. I kind of feel like I want to mess it up a little bit. It feels too neat. Let's go back in there like that a little bit. Make it a bit messy and kind of scratch those layers away a little bit. And then come back in. That's better, I think. Bit of palette knife application grunge. I think we'll do that with this eye as well. Bit of palette knife action there to really get those nice textures on there. I bet this is going to be empty by the time I'm finished with this. I think I'm gonna just use this to grunge everything up a bit. I hope none of you were like super attached to what I was doing, because obviously like you might be going like, no, I really like that. Why are you putting palette knife texture all over it now? But that is just the way I work. Sorry, not sorry. And like I said, like I feel quite adventurous and not very precious, and I always trust that if I do something that I don't like, I can always bring it back to something that I do like. And that is quite, you know, like feeling confident like that, or feeling, it's not even really confidence, it's just kind of like a trust, I guess. It's really helpful for allowing yourself to be adventurous. If you feel like you can't really do it wrong, it will just end up the way that it will end up, and that is fine. As an aside, if you enjoy my way of teaching, then you might want to check out some of the links in the description. I've got a Patreon, and I teach on several collaborative year-long courses. So yeah, check those kind of things out if you would like to learn more from me. This is my way of low-key advertising, because I always forget. So what are we gonna do with the fluorescent yellow? If at any point in this video I have said fluorescent pink instead of yellow, my brain has this weird thing where sometimes I just think that yellow is called pink. I don't know, it's just weird. So because this yellow is an accent color, I don't want to overuse it. I mean, I'm going to be thinking of it as an accent color. I don't want to overuse it. I don't want to I want it to be really subtle. Like, obviously it's going to be like a screaming color. Oh, I just did that. Whoops. That's what happens when you use a dirty piece of, a dirty piece of paper. Right, there we go. I fixed it. So this, see, now it's difficult to not get precious because now I feel like I really like this. Like this is pretty much almost finished to me. And the potential to now ruin it by adding this is high. And that's where I get scared. Interesting. So to answer that question, I'm going to first just do other things. Maybe it'll come to me at some point. Tell me in the comments what you think I should do. I mean, obviously by the time you've watched the rest of this video, you'll know what I decide, but like, you could have like a little guess with yourself, like, well, do you know what I'm going to do? Because I don't know yet. Right, so there is something that I'm enjoying, and that is that bit of grey here, and I think I'm going to extend that a little bit. So I'm going to make some more grey. Remember how we did that? It was basically just mixing white with both of the muted acrylics colors. Looking at it now, it was probably a bit more of this. Just to set that face apart from the background a tiny bit more. Do you want to keep it grungy? I don't want to get like a stark, neat line. I want to keep that background kind of peeking through as well. No clean edges. I'm not a fan of clean edges. Also, I love, actually, whilst I'm filming this, I love looking at the viewfinder rather than like at the actual painting, because for some reason it just flattens the view and it makes it easier to see what you're doing and whether things are working. And obviously if you're not filming whatever you're doing, you can always just take a picture with your phone or whatever, just to kind of have a different perspective of what it is that you're doing. And I sometimes also find that I might be working on something and I don't really like what I'm doing, and then I see a picture of it and then I'm like, oh, it actually works quite well. Yeah, so that's definitely a hot tip. And also taking a picture can sometimes really help you see the contrast. It can help you see the values, can help you see if you've got enough like shadows and highlights and stuff. So yeah, that's my hot tip. Right, I think it's time to dry this, because if I make this properly dry, then I can experiment with this, and if I don't like what I do, I can just wipe it off. So that is going to be what I'm going to try. Alright, let's do it. Let's do this. But where? Oh, maybe like this. Just a kind of grungy effect. And it's great because this is a this is a contrasting color, this yellow. There is no yellow whatsoever. Well, I mean, there is some kind of yellowishness inside the turquoise, but like only very subtly. So the yellow here, it really pops against these other kind of quite cool colors. What about tiny bit, the tiniest of tiny bits in the eye? I think I like that. I wasn't sure. Kind of weird but interesting. I think that's it. Less is more. I'm usually a more is more type of person. I mean, obviously, like you can tell by my art style, it's definitely more is more. But in terms of this color application, I'm going to stop here. And yeah, I think this is finished. I mean, it's like when I start getting prissy and like start thinking too much, that's usually when something is finished. So I'm going to just sign this, which is very exciting. Let's sign it in white because that makes sense. And in case you're wondering why I sign my art as Iris F like this with the capital letters and the dot after the F, it's because that's how I used to sign my art when I was little, when I was literally 3 or 4 years old. That's how I used to sign my art, so I thought that was very authentic to still keep doing it that way. So there we go, that is finished. I am super happy with it. I hope you found it interesting to see how I used the UPCRATE materials to make something distinctly in my own style, and I hope that's something that you can take away from this, that when you get some new art supplies that you haven't necessarily selected yourself, and also you get like a little booklet with lots of inspiration in it, that you can still take those things and kind of do your own thing, and kind of bring them in your own way of working or the things that you like doing, but then at the same time have a few little things that push you out of your comfort zone. So I hope that was interesting, useful and inspiring to you. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe for more arty inspiration and creative life videos. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye! Ahoy, Art Crew! Willkommen im neuen Jahr und zurück an Bord von Captain Crate.